Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where you are in the world. We have a Thieves Town Division match in the ALTTPR League this year between Zelda and Chill, represented by Oro and deritypeels, and Tylersalt and Timp of the Longshots. I believe this is game 2 in the series, with Zelda and Chill taking the first one. So let's see what happens here. I'm TJ Joel, and I'll be joined in the booth shortly by Radical Sniper 99. It's like Derity's going to do the Uncle start, and Oro's going to head up and see what's floating on the bush, around the bush crab, and perhaps what's out on Lumberjack. Tylersalt heading that way as well. The Uncle's got a little bit of love for us along the way here. Moment of truth. Do we need Aga for something, or will we perhaps need it for Dark World? I missed what that check was, actually, so hopefully maybe we get another view out of here shortly. Tylersalt started in the Lost Woods, just a little bit of love at the mushroom spot, and a mirror in the drop down. Very nice. Nice item to find right off the start. Looks like Zelda and Chill is going to pincer Kakariko here from the north and the south, so that'll move along, or it'll be a few seconds before they grab their mirror. Let's see what we have today. Let's see if Kakariko can give us anything along the way here. Ooh, Oro taking. Let's see what Race Game's got for us. Race Game's just hiding more bombs. Probably leave him sitting there. Tylersalt using that mirror for the block delete. Blind hut. $5, $20. Another $20. Piece of heart. Apologize for that. $50 in the north of Blind Hut as well. Moving on through here, we've got Chicken Hut for Darity. Piece of heart. Tylersalt into the well now. Let's see what we've got up here at the top. Ooh, flippers. Swim toes, nice and early. Definitely going to feel probably compelled to head that way. And the Moon Pearl in there as well. So lots of items coming quick and fast here for our runners. Ooh, a hook shot on Desert Ledge. That's going to sit there and think about that. The ice rod on the bottle vendor as well. Things are coming here fast and furious for these runners. Oro going to give us our first look at Agina's cave. See if the see what the old guy's hiding in here, all the way out in the desert by himself. Tylersalt looks like we're going to check the island, head to the Eastern Palace area, or maybe just do those flippers checks. Looks like we're going to head into the water here, go swim up, see what the hobo's got for us for Tylersalt. Let's see what the guy under the bridge has. Oro's heading towards the eastern area, and Zaha. See what they have. See what he has for us today over there. Just 10 arrows on the hobo. Help boost the arrow count early, but not what we're looking for at this point. Darity grabbing the ice rod. Let's see what Zaha is hiding in the back of the house today. A rupee, 10 more arrows. and 20 bucks. So not much here. So which way do these runners head? Is Tylersalt going to swim over, check Ice Rod Cave? Perhaps think about the Zora ledge while we're already down at this point. Lacking the money for Zora, so that might have to linger in the back of your mind, but could always rope it back in a little bit later. Oro heading into Eastern Palace. Let's see what Eastern gives us. Darity going to grab the mirror out of the thieves' hideout in the forest. Move along. It's interesting to see the way that they're going to split up these runs. Ooh, a sword and ice rod cave. So that's definitely nice to find early. Keep moving on. You know, it's nice to have something offensive that doesn't rely on magic, especially when there's no hammer in sight as of yet. First check in Eastern just gives us a full heart container. Tylersalt's going to give us the seeds first look at the Waterfall Ferry and the two items in here. Bombs and the Book of Medora. That's interesting. That gives us access to the hook shot. Not that the Longshots are aware of that yet. Oro's going to keep moving on here. Just 50 bucks on the Zora ledge. Without any money for Zora, Tylersalt's going to take a save and quit. Wonder if that book will push him towards the desert. Deritypeels heading down, going to find that sword. Eventually probably head to the Waterfall Ferry. Oro's just moving through Eastern Palace here. Let's see what this check's got. So far, just some love for two items here in Eastern Palace. Full heart container and a piece of heart. Tylersalt heading to Mini Maldorm Cave. That sword will make it nice in there. Nothing wrong with doing it with bombs, but it's always a little bit more comfortable with the sword. And the ice rod, of course. There we go, that Maldorm finally cooperated for Tylersalt. Let's see what these 5 items have in store for us. Blue mail, 20 bucks. Half magic, nice and early in the seed. Runners are really going to enjoy that. A master sword and a piece of heart. 2 swords early, interesting. Oro moves through that dark room with ease, gets by everything back there. Going to see what's in the vanilla big key chest in here, see if it's our item or see if we have an item locked on Armos Knights. Item. It was an item, just 20 bucks. Tylersalt moving through the dam. Can imagine with that book starting to think about the desert play. Darity clearing up Mini Maldorm Cave, gonna find half magic and blue mail down here and another sword. Tylersalt's going to get over here and see the pleasant surprise sitting on Desert Ledge. Nice to see a hook shot early. Going to visit Agina first, though. Looks like heading into the next section that we haven't seen. Darity's going to head into the castle and do the to escape. Let's see what it's got down there for us. Just moving on through here. New checks for Darity, Tylersalt, and Oro going over checks that we've already seen from other runners. Just trying to put the small pieces of the puzzle together, maybe get some hearts, get some items together. We had a shield in escape so far. Oro grabbing their flippers. Go on, worry about those other water checks. we knowing that the book is in the Waterfall Ferry along the way, so eventually Zelda and Chill will grab that and keep moving on, but we'll see what else that Darity finds in here for us along the way. As we're getting our looks in Desert here, Tylersalt finds the flute in the map chest in Desert. So at this point, Desert is going to be some form of boots locked, but we are getting a hookshot and the flute out of here. That's Screamin' Mountain. Let's see what Zelda's cell has for us. 50 bucks in the cell. Tylersalt grabs the hook shot. Heads that and it's going to, I'm sure, going to head to activate it and probably head up the mountain at this point. Here's Oro's heading to Mini Muldarm Cave, grab their next sword, half magic, blue mail. You know, all those comfort items nice and early when you're still looking for still looking for stuff. Darity's heading towards Waterfall Ferry's area. We'll come across that book here shortly. Then with the knowledge that they have, we'll be able to relay that and they can head towards Desert for that hookshot as well. We're going to set the bird free here so we can get some quick rides around Hyrule. Always nice to see early. See that we now have Timp's stream up here after the technical errors and a little bit of a delay here, so we're going to see Timp go over some checks right from the start of the game. Tylersalt going to take that lost old man home. You know, it's funny how he keeps getting lost in there over and over again. Looks like Oro heading to Ice Rod Cave, grab the other sword out of there, and move along. Push grabs dropping full magic, always nice to know if you happen to go up towards that area. It's Tylersalt coming out of the dark. Well done there. Let's take the old guy home and see what he's got for us, and oh, he's hiding the hammer today. So wow, you come up here with a hook shot, mirror, and a hammer. It's the whole mountain care package. Darity heading into Desert, going to find that flute hiding in that map chest, and then grab the hook shot up. Let's see what Paradox Cave has for us here from Tylersalt. So let's see what Paradox has for us here. You know, 20 bucks, more bombs. Oh, a fire rod. Piece of heart. $5 more. 20 bucks. And the boots. Very nice to see. Move along here for sure. Tylersalt's not going to complain about finding boots and a fire rod up there, that's for sure. Looks like we're going to probably check the tablet, head into Hera up here. See what couple items are in the Tower of Hera for us here. Looks like we have Green Pendant Buyer from the check on Timp's side. It's good to know, more knowledge along the way. Oro moving through, picking up all those items, probably going to head up towards the mountain with Darity. Darity activating the flute, heading there now. 10 arrows inside Spectacle Rock. Looks like at this point Tim made the eastern play. Alright, let's see what the Tower of Hera has for here. Darity's rescuing the old man from the Dark Cave as well, going to find the hammer on their side. Big key in the basement cage. Always nice to see, but sure with our current loadout here, we might see a little bit of fancy tech. Oh, and that small key. Herapot set up here. Tylersalt. Using the bonk and bomb method. Oh. Put another attempt at it here. This looks like maybe a back of escape play here from Oro and Zelda and Chill side, with Darity already clearing the front of escape. Perhaps just grab the key and head back. Timp's stream here moving through Eastern Palace. We know from Oro going through here, there's not much in here to lead any way, but we'll see what's going on here. Tylersalt getting the Herapot, taking the mandatory damage from the bomb to set that up. Nicely, you can grab the ferry on the way through, and let's see what these two checks in Hera have for us. Got a map. Map and compass, so I guess we're hoping Maldorm has the items so we don't have to go into the basement, but at this point, looking around, they might head that way. It's like Tylersalt here moving into the fight with the boss that can either be super friendly or wreck your day. Oro heading to the back of escape here. And Tim moving through Eastern Palace to the Vanilla Big Key chest. Okay, our second item was on Maldorm. Our first item was on Maldorm, so great item layout in here. But we got a bottle, first bottle of the seed, and first crystal down for the Longshots at about 18 minutes in. Tylersalt not going to leave anything. Of course, Chance still looking for way too many items at this point. Going to head down there. Maldorm giving Darity a bump. Looks like Oro got Ether and a glove out of the back of escape. Very nice find to grab that key and head back there. Oro activating the flute, going to head up the mountain and grab the hammer, I'm sure at this point. Oh, Darity, another bump. That's no fun. It's not great when Trolldorm won't play nice. Alright, what's in the basement? Bombos medallion. That's interesting. Darity taking down Maldorm for Zelda and Chill's first Crystal of the Seed. About 19 minutes and 50 seconds in. Timp in Mini Moldorm Cave, going to grab that male sword, half magic. So we have a sick kid play probably coming after that bottle, I would imagine. Once Tylersalt's done heading to the heading through escape. Probably definitely thinking between them doing the desert play as well. Darity going to give us a look at Spiral Cave here. Oro's hula handing to collect some money, perhaps thinking about Zora on Zelda and Chill's side. The other glove in Spiral Cave. Wow. So we'll have we have Dark World access now, but we also know where the other glove is. So we're gonna have early mitts on Zelda and Chill's side. Hammer's still not in logic without a lamp, but you know, logic is merely a suggestion in this game. Tylersalt going to find that. Other glove back here and that ether medallion. Timp grabbing the book out of Waterfall Fairy. Darity heading in here to Thought Paradox, find the fire rod. Long behind, looks like Timp's making that desert play. Tylersalt's going to head here. Looks like he's going to give us the Seed's first look at Hype Cave. Darity close by, going to give us the same check and go see what we have hiding here. Powder on the NPC, 10 bombs, a piece of heart, shield, and a bow. Wow. Hype Cave delivering today. Looks like with the loadout here, the Tylersalt's going to head into Swamp Palace. Yeah, to answer question in the chat, Darity didn't have the fire, so yeah, no Hera basement. Darity following the same play, heading in. Oro heading through Spike Cave, grab the other glove. Looks like we've got pendants at Ice and Mire, good crystals at Swamp and Pod. I mean, they've all got to fall in a co-op AD situation, but you know, it's always good knowledge to know what you might be looking for later on if it's a pendant that you're trying to clear late. Oro going to give us a look here at the Dark Death Mountain, Super Bunny Hookshot Cave, get that Trotter Rock knowledge. Oro moving through the bottom of Super Bunny here, gonna give us these 2 checks. Let's see what Super Bunny's got for us. 20 rupees, 10 arrows. We're gonna keep moving on. See what else Swamp Palace has in store for us at this point. Yeah, to answer the question in chat, we don't know if Bombos is required yet, but that may come back. We'll see. See how the seed plays out. Tempered Sword, another sword in Swamp Palace. Always nice to see Tempered Sword early. You know, just makes everything that much easier. There's the lamp in Hookshot Cave, and I guess Bombos required for Turtle Rock as well. So lots of items that we have knowledge about, each team getting one piece or the other half of the puzzle. Tylersalt going through here, Darity heading to the back of Swamp.
Alright, TJ, hopefully I'm coming through on here for you. Jumping in as a restream to give you a little bit of co-comms here for just a moment, while we still wait for Jesse to hop in. Now I got everything all figured out with this stream, so how we doing? How's everything looking so far?
It's looking alright. You know, we've got Zelda and Chill not doing hair at basement, knowing that Bombos is there, but Oro's there now. Tylersalt skipped Spiral's cave with a glove in there, so, you know, quick recap.
Ooh, that'll be an interesting thing to find. I would expect with the knowledge that I've seen so far this seed, I'm guessing that after the play in Hair Basement here that Oro's doing, they'll probably grab their bow and head over to the Pot Eastern play, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that would be what I would do too. Tylersalt's going to keep on moving through here. I mean, Skullwood's Thieves Town, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and that'll likely be the play that Darity also follows, going to west to Dark World. But they'll have the advantage. Do they have the Titan's mitts, or?
No, they do not have the mitts, so they'll have to go across the other way. Darity taking down Argus here for the second crystal of the seed. Tylersalt following behind here. Oro gonna be thorough, make sure there's nothing else hiding in here. Go get the bottle. Darity going to hit and check that Bombos tablet. It's a grid play coming out of Swamp, especially with the book.
Yeah, it's certainly not something that you want to isolate. Especially if it does end up being something.
Yeah, definitely. It's so often forgot about. Just $20 hiding on the tablet, but you know, better safe than sorry, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Tylersalt with his second crystal. Oro getting their first off of Muldorm. Everybody moving through here. Zelda and Chill definitely with the little more knowledge about the mitts at this point that we're aware of.
Yeah, we'll just have to see once Timp stream is caught up here, whether he visits Spiral Cave or not on his trip to the mountain. Which I would imagine would be soon here.
Yeah, definitely. Wow, Silver Arrows, second bow and K45 for Darity.
How awfully convenient to have both bows just so close to each other.
Yeah, they're just hanging out down there. Ooh, Oro. At least we have the fairy to redo that.
Yeah, it seems like they're probably trying to conserve their magic for a little later.
I don't actually believe Oro doesn't have Burna yet anyway, so...
yeah, that's probably true too.
Burna and Swamp, right?
Alright, and it looks like we got Jesse jumping in here in just a second, so let me get him swapped out and just quick updated on the match.
Sounds good. Tylersalt heading to pod. Darity showing us what's in the digging game. Hopefully the amount of digs is polite today and we're not pushing 30. $300 in the digging game. That's a funny place to hide that much money. Tylersalt giving us the first look into pod here. Looks like key in the shooter room. Apologies for that. Have a little hiccup here. Moving through. Tylersalt going to continue moving through pod. Darity grabbing their mitt.
And hello.
Hey Jesse, how are you?
Good. How are you doing today?
Not too bad. Sure that you've got a bit of an update here on the seed, so
Yeah,
we're
looking
moving
like
on
we
here.
have quite a bit so far. It looks like we're actually really close to even go mode or no mode at this point.
Yeah, definitely, potentially just Samaria away, I would believe.
Yeah, all I'm missing from what I can see is a Quake Medallion and a Cane of Samaria. Little unfortunate that we have the extra delay, but between these races and qualifiers, I'm sure everybody's super busy always, so easy to kind of forget or miss that.
Oh, most definitely. You know, it's kind of fun in a way. We can kind of guess what Timp is going to do, depending on what we've seen Tyler do.
Right.
It's like we're moving on through here. Darity going to give us the seats first look at Thievestown.
Yeah, nice fully clearable dungeon right now.
Yeah, you find that hammer. I mean, they found the Oro found the lamp, so they know where that hammer's in logic. Hammer being on Old Man, so.
Yeah, and we usually don't see too many seeds where it becomes a major issue not having hammer when you enter, but it's, this close to go mode, you really don't want to head in there missing one piece of the puzzle to do it.
No, definitely not. Okay, so judging by Tim's stream, they do have Mitt's knowledge. Was curious on that.
Yeah, and really, if you're going to stick to some of your non-MITS dungeons, if we're going to get Eastern and Pod here together on Tyler's side or also on Oro's side, it makes a lot of sense, that maybe we don't have to prioritize MITS so quickly. There's definitely a convenience factor to it, but for the most part, it won't change your play.
Yeah, especially with Ice and Meyer both being pendants. If you find that Samaria, you can grab them on your way, do Turtle Rock, and come back down.
Yeah, and luckily, I mean, at this point, looks like have we checked the Meyer medallion?
Oro headed that way, but I didn't catch it myself.
Okay, so, that's the only real thing that we're on the lookout for possible GT. If that is Quake could technically be in GT if it's not also the medallion. Well, it's not the medallion for Turtle Rock, so that's our only real stumbling block for finding things there. Although I'm seeing in chat, apparently it was also Bombos.
Okay, perfect. Good to know. So we're just looking for Samaria at this point.
Yeah, that's a really good feeling, when you can say at this point, hey, I know I don't need anything in GT. I'm really just looking for a big key, and it's just go. That really does help. I think we've seen it so many times this week already where something important was inside of Ganon's tower.
Yeah, and then the great decision comes: do you actually go through it? I mean, density-wise, for sure, but there's other thing, or is it lingering in those one oddball checks that you just haven't got to yet?
Yeah, and we saw that, I think the big one this week especially was Ice Rod. How do you play an Ice Rod hunt with GT access? And we've seen almost both situations work where you do the typical, hey, Ice Rod's in its quote unquote French vanilla dungeon of Turtle Rock, or it's in GT. Both situations have come up and almost made almost the deciding factor of the end of these races.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen one this week as well where the boots were in GT and it was in King's Tomb. So yeah, it's definitely
Exactly.
one of those dice roll situations. As we're seeing here, some runners go over. As we're seeing Timp take down the moth. Have a battle in that room where it's not always the moth that's the boss. It's usually the room.
Yeah, with half magic and a master sword, shouldn't be too bad, even at 5 hearts. Everything in this room is just going to do a heart of damage, given that we're on blue mail. So,
Great blind fight there from Darity.
and Timp also getting through moth.
Yeah. Oh, another bottle on the moth. Another crystal for both teams.
Yeah, and on the plus side of this race, it does appear, hard to say with where Timp might be relative to Tyler at this exact moment in the race, but it does look like the division of, dungeons is working out pretty nicely.
Yeah, definitely covering a lot of ground real fast.
Yeah, this is kind of the almost one of the unspoken pieces, or like how to have effective co-op partnerships is, hey, I'm going to do this dungeon, but, what's your dungeon count at, and can I kind of keep pace so one person's not too far ahead of the other? Like right now, Darity's getting a bit more ahead of Oro, it looks like, at that 3-1. So definitely something to keep an eye on, but not terrible still. It's still early enough. They're still making checks, but I think there's a definite argument to say Darity should start looking to either clear some of the overworld checks if we're not finding Cane of Samaria, or do the longer dungeons.
Yeah, definitely try to stay on pace. And it's great if you can go out and find the answer, but if not, then it does cause problems. A little bit of a bottleneck, if you will.
And we did get a gold sword over on Tylersalt side out of Eastern Palace.
Wow. So this seed is giving us everything offensive we can ask for.
I think if we asked our bottom runner, or at least Timp at this moment, he'd say, I wish I had a few more hearts.
Yeah, definitely.
But will not reject having tempered and possibly even gold sword for this one.
Yeah, always nice little things to pick up along the way, but yeah, a few hearts somewhere here or there. No one's going to complain about that in the end.
Oro into pod basement. Tylersalt heading back towards Armos. And the interesting piece here is, and we're not sure, is Tylersalt skipping some chests. Is this knowledge of where Samaria is right now?
Yeah, it's very, very possible. Timp also did make the Eastern play very early when the stream caught up, so...
Oh, true. Sorry, I missed that part, but... My mistake.
Oh,
The joys of having a busy schedule today.
definitely, yeah. It's a busy day for everyone in life and in the league and rando world today, so...
Yeah, we're at the end of week 1. This is the last... This match is one of the, at the end of today, we're on to week 2.
Moving along so fast. A lot of matches down in the books already. Oro handles Helmasaur King here. Another crystal in the books for Zelda and Chill. Another crystal in the books for the Longshots as well as Tylersalt takes down Armos Knights. And Darity taking down the Moth.
Yeah, really curious where this Canis Amaria is. I feel like the worst case for that nobody wants to kind of have to approach is it in Ice Palace or Mire even? Which one of those two pendants could it be at?
Yeah, definitely. Not a situation you want to do, and I mean, with the inclusion of Icebreaker these days, you never want to go near Ice Palace without it if you can help it.
Agreed. I can definitely say it's one of those things I have talked to teammates about of, I don't want to do it. It's not that I can't bomb jump, it's that I prefer to not need to.
Absolutely, I completely agree. It's probably an icebreaker room. Let's just say that that's going to be the loop the seed's going to throw at us.
Of course. It's always icebreaker room.
Yeah, it has to be. A seed's got to have some humor along the way. Tylersalt grabbing his mitt here.
And I was gonna say I thought Darity was going for Smith Chain here, but did not have the Smith with her.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch what happened there, but I believe I was under the same belief as you. Tylersalt going to head here through Super Bunny, go into Hookshot Cave and get the lamp. Give them that knowledge, let them know that that hammer is now completely logical.
Yeah, and while our runners are definitely capable of going through dark rooms, especially Mire, you just save so much time.
Yeah, and with lower health, you save that usual mandatory 1 or 2 hits from that spike. When you can see it coming, you don't usually get touched by it.
Yeah, that and Aga Tower are two dungeons that no matter how good you get at this game, you just like having the lamp for them.
Yeah, it definitely increases the comfort level, that's for sure. It's like Darity into the Smith Chain now.
Yeah, just a little bit of unfortunate overlap there, but still proceeding nicely. We're getting that Smith Chain, though. It looks like Oro might be heading now to Swamp Palace, kind of playing a little bit of catch-up.
Yeah, just do the quick dungeons, get the crystal counts back close.
Yeah, and this gives Darity a little bit of time to kind of see, is Smith Chain the answer? Should I dive another dungeon? But I think, unless they've... Maybe you do Desert after this, because it looks like Desert's not clear yet. But definitely a good opportunity to hit. So we're getting Sick Kid into Purple Chest, possibly Bombo's Tablet, and then Ice or Desert might be the next play.
Yeah, one item still sitting in Desert. It was Boots Locks, and our flute was there, so... The loadout we've got with the Bombos available with the Fire Rod, yeah, you've got to wonder which team is going to take the plunge into Ice first.
Do you like fetch quests? Because apparently Purple Chest leading to the Mushroom.
Oh, that's interesting. There's still that shovel out there lingering too. I don't believe anyone's checked yet, so... Will the fetch quests pay off for any of these teams today?
Well, I mean, I think getting a red boomerang is a well-deserved prize. I like that find.
Well, yeah, nothing wrong with that, for sure, It's always a handy tool to have along the way. Not quite the red stick they were looking for, but... Sick Kid just had his pocket change for us, so
We have left Sick Kid penniless now. And I is this going to be Graveyard Ledge up next for Darity, it looks like?
yeah, it looks like the North Dark World play here. Tylersalt heading into Mire. Like Timp making the ice play.
Interesting. I do like, it's hard to say with this being 10 minutes apart, what's happened or not. But I think this does kind of give us a hint that Ice Palace probably is not the answer for Samaria.
Yeah, it seems like that, Nothing else that we're really going to be looking for out of here, so probably more or less just it'll be a go mode type dungeon for Tylersalt at that point. Oro setting up the bomber down setup up there. Always a little bit picky, but nice to always have. You can't always rely on having Samaria, but you typically have bombs.
Yeah, so what you're looking for is you pretty much are getting Link's head roughly about the middle of the stairs. But in terms of the, you're looking at that bottom brown border, and you want to be a pixel above that when you set that bomb. For Oro, what happened there also is get pushed a little bit too far to the right, so you have to kind of wiggle a little bit to get to a spot to jump down. So Oro luckily recognizing, hey, I'm through the rail, I should be able to jump, I'm just a little too far to make the jump right now.
Yeah, definitely nice knowledge there to get through that and make that work. We do have that big bomb lingering as well at this point, just looking at Tylersalt's tracker, realizing that both red crystals are clear.
Yeah, and I think oh, never mind. We know where it is.
There it is.
I was about to say, Oro, you didn't beat Arcus yet. So yeah, going back in, but that's the knowledge.
Have the puzzle put together at this point. So 46 minutes, we have go mode. Or
no mode, at least. It looks like
no mode, at least.
It looks like Darity is going to go get that lamp you were saying earlier. Because I think that's the only reason we see a mountain play at this point.
Yeah.
Without Samaria and having just, going in dungeon clear mode.
Yeah, definitely. More comfortable to head into Mire. Jump back into Swamp, go grab it, and then just move through.
Yeah, and as chat's pointing out, this is a really tough situation for the Longshots, as Tylersalt has cleared Swamp Palace except for left side, so might not make it a priority for either of them to go back in right now. And even if, Timp does go back in and find it, it's still now a double dip required for Tylersalt.
Yeah, definitely. And that's always the gamble with the left side swamp, especially early in the seed at that point. Oro moving into the Argus fight here. Gotta clean up all the puffs. Tempered Sword just makes it quite a breeze. A lot more fun than coming in here with Master Sword and spinning around, or playing everybody's favorite menu simulator 5000 with a hammer.
I was gonna say, the double spins with fighter is always the best.
Oh yeah, that's always a good time. Darity in Hera basement grabbing Bombos. Guessing the next play will be that Samaria.
Sorry, then that's the reason why. It wasn't the lamp, it was we don't have a medallion. Oh, my bad.
Looks like it is going to go into the lamp play as well, though.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you still have quite a few dark rooms. Actually, Darity has every dark room that really exists left.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
time to grab it.
Yeah, between Pod, Mire, Aga Tower, Turtle Rock, Dark Maze, and even the Eastern Dark Room, which are all rooms I fully expect our runners are fairly comfortable with, you just enjoy that.
Yeah, if you have the knowledge and know where it is, then it's not too far out of your way, especially for Darity's case, going back up to get Bombos. Why not?
So yeah, we need that Bombos out of Hera. And while you're here, why not pick up Lamp real quick? I think I think the time save and the comfort level at this low heart will be worth it.
Oh, I would agree completely. As we see Timp stream here, still going through Ice Palace, Tylersalt heading to the back of Desert. It's probably a good time to throw it out there. And if you like the show these runners are putting on for us, you should give them all a follow.
Definitely, we're a little bit past halfway on this one. I'd estimate. And we're gonna see tons of racing over the next few months. This is just week 1 of the league season. So starting tomorrow, we'll actually be into week 2, and we'll start seeing the Fad keys.
Yeah, an interesting addition to the league this year. I'm a big fan of the mode. There's nothing like taking the Aga Tower key hunt out of the equation.
Yeah, it's an interesting change for sure. Last season, we of course did have regular old 80 keys. This season, changing it over to this faux or fast 80 keys, as it were, with those Aga Tower keys now placed into Aga Tower. So Darity heading back into Swamp Palace as Oro is just into go mode. I have to imagine Oro's gonna. I'm guessing silvers weren't too bad to find.
K45.
Oh, is that where the bow that Oro did not get is?
Yeah, that would be it. Oro grabbed the one out of Hype Cave, but the other one's sitting at K45. So
Then I don't know if we see Oro go pick that up, having already completed Swamp Palace.
yeah, it's a bit of an out of the way trip. I mean, all of these runners comfortable with going silverless, but it is one of those things. It is substantially faster in the end.
And I don't know if it is faux or fast 80 keys. That's just what I've been calling it. Or less PG things.
80 keys with a spin. We'll just go with that one.
Yeah.
Answered a question in chat. Yes, Samaria and left side swamp. Tylersalt picking up the silvers. Also, while we're at it, let's thank our crew here for putting in my co-commentator Radical Sniper 99, Trackers Adalor and DFS, and our restreamer Amethyr Alterna. Why don't you give them a follow as well?
Yes, and it has been a pleasure working with you. And thank you, TJ, for taking care of everything while I was away on this one.
Oh, that happens. You would do it for anyone else too. And it was great to do it. It was a lot of fun trying to keep up with the 4 runners. Kept your mind moving and the eyes going.
It's hard enough keeping track as a calm duo, let alone a solo.
Yeah, wait, where did they go? They got stuff. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, they got stuff and tried clearing dungeons and found out they couldn't yet. But Oro working through Desert as Darity is now entered go mode. Tylersalt working to find out where that cane is, with Timp now in Hera. So the longer we see Tylersalt kind of doing these other checks, even though we're not seeing what Timp's up to, we can at least tell roughly that the Longshots are yet unaware of that Samaria location.
Yeah, definitely. At least we'll have that knowledge by seeing what they're doing. Looks like Tylersalt moving into that Smith chain. Well, I guess we'll know by either if Tyler finds it or if Timp finds it. We might see Tyler make a quick return trip to Swamp Palace.
Yeah, and just given like the dungeons at this point, we're seeing Tylersalt saying, "Okay, I don't have to rush Ice Palace. because I know Samaria's not there. Thieves Town's already kind of taken care of, so maybe I don't rush that. And Skull Woods doesn't change either. So the question, we need Samaria at this point for Tylersalt to feel like he wants to rush a dungeon, because he's also seen Meyer.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be the spin on it. Sitting here watching the Longshot side, quite curious if that will be the step for Timp at this point. I mean, between it, they've covered all the other ground. If Timp doesn't head to Swamp, or hadn't head to Swamp at this point after this Hera clear.
Yeah, this is a difficult question when you race co-op. When do you go do, how much do you clear? Do you full clear everything? A lot of teams will tell you, yes, you always full clear your dungeons. Even the bad checks, you want to make sure you get all the items. Other times it says, sometimes we just have to take a risk.
Yeah, you definitely get looking at your timer and go, okay, at this point, do we haven't found it yet. Do we just gun for new stuff, or do we go back over? Definitely a hard question.
And unfortunately, it looks like Timp did get into rage phase from Moldorm, but does get through that fight.
Yeah, cleaned it up nicely. That rage form is never fun up there. That's when Trolldorm's at his trolly best.
Yeah, I always remember, Moldorm does, or has like what we'll call 6 hit points, I guess you could say. Master Sword and Fighter Sword slashes both just do 1 point. So it can be kind of rough.
Yeah, it's nothing like if you accidentally, sneak a poke in there as well, and especially even when you have a better sword, and then then you're going in with one mindset and having to quickly switch to another. Darity moving through pod here. Oro into Meyer. Just looking for big keys at this point. Moving on. Everybody just kind of moving through here. Timp going to get the lamp on a hookshot cave. Not knowing what Timp's covered, looks like Tylersalt is going to make that big bomb play. So really heads up to realize that you've cleared those. We know it's not the answer, but it's a good check to get out of the way.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate. This is definitely a tough situation for the Longshots.
Yeah, it's especially left side swamp. It's one of those hard ones to want to go back to. That's for sure. Oro moving through Meyer here, going into cutscene. Wondering if the big key is vanilla. I missed it when Tylersalt went through here, so perhaps it could be here.
I forget as well. I did see we just got powder off of the Hype Cave NPC. Did Oro skip that even though getting the Hype Cave bow?
I'm not 100% sure. I believe that Oro Darity may have checked it before Oro got the Hype Cave bow. Or right around the same time.
Well, I'm just saying because that's a nice safety to have, so I would have thought Oro would have picked it up. Especially because that's just a... Oh, sorry. DFS filling in. Yes, it was actually picked up. Thank you.
Thanks, DFS.
Definitely one of those things, if you find out that the... even out of just muscle memory and the Hype Cave NPC is nothing, you almost just always pick it up just because of the fact that it's so quick to do. and it just works through those frames while you wait for the explosion.
Yeah, definitely one of those convenient ones. And as you said, muscle memory, it's like opening the maiden chest in Thieves Town. You can know there's nothing in there, but you're still going to open it.
I've definitely done that in quite a few races. But Oro going through Mire gets the torch glitch, or sorry, the spooky.
Always such a nice little trick to see going on in there. Tylersalt getting the life lesson from King Zora, it's not a great return on your investment.
Yeah, and definitely just in a rough spot. I hope this is Tylersalt heading for Swamp again. But I gotta believe there's quite a bit of frustration here of just like, yeah, going through this portal now tells, oh, never mind. Maybe not.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the play is here now.
Looks like it may have been the play towards Bombo's tablet, but just forgetting to switch worlds.
Meanwhile, Oral gets through Vitreous as Darity is working through Eastern. I think Darity also has Pod done, so I think it's just going to be Desert Mire next and Ice, while Oro still has to work through Skull and Thieves before heading up to TR.
Yeah, definitely just the now with Zelda and Chill's knowledge, just definitely the business as usual movement here. Get through, run right to the back, get rid of the moth.
Yeah, still a little unfortunate that Oro did not go for those silvers out of K45, but just the decision-making process, sometimes you skip it, and then when you have the ability to go back for it, you're like, I don't want to invest that time for it.
Yeah, if your heart level, your inventory level, your sword level is comfortable, then yeah, it's definitely one of those ones. It's not a crazy amount of time, but seconds matter in a race.
Yeah, and Tylersalt checked Bombo's tablet, but now is back to Skull Woods. So definitely very curious to see, when does Tylersalt go back to Swamp Palace, or is this a question of when Timp goes into Swamp and does left side?
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting on the Longshot side to see which way this heads, which one of them ends up going back into Swamp Palace first. If Tyler goes back or if Timp goes and does it. My apologies. Oro just moving through their Moth fight here. Moth not exactly playing super nice, just like can stick up the top, and making it's just that little bit more of a pain, a little bit slower at first. Handles it, gets another model.
Yeah, luckily, having Tempered Sword, that's a pretty comfy fight. As well as half magic, so.
Yeah, definitely. Just walk around for a few seconds till the Moth finally moves into a convenient spot.
Well, and what a lot of runners will also tell you is, if you're in a situation where you're fighting a Moth and you have Tempered Sword, even Master Sword on occasion, what a lot of experienced runners will tell you is just be aggressive on that fight, because Moth really cannot do much to you if you just keep on attacking him.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, I've ever actually thought of it that way. I mean, I'm always kind of aggressive on that fight. Probably sometimes when I definitely shouldn't be, but
Yeah, yeah, no, it's one of those things you kind of, the spikes are out of your control, but Moth, you can keep them away from doing their shot attack all the time. So if you just keep pushing against Moth, it never happens, and you can really save yourself a bit of the aggravation of having to dodge.
Definitely, yeah, nice thing. Timp taking down Helmasaur King here.
Gonna appreciate having that third sword at this point.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's always one of the nice things to see. At that point, you know, you stop questioning how we're gonna do this, or if we're gonna be careful about it and just go get it done.
We do see Tylersalt into Thieves Town, so just clearing out the dungeons possible right now. And that's kind of what we're seeing from both Tylersalt and Timp, almost just working through dungeons that the other one has done rather than trying to, unless, you know, we still have that 10-minute difference. It's very possible that Timp has already gone into Swamp and got the Cane of Samaria. You know, and we're just seeing Tylersalt kind of clear up before that point.
Yeah, definitely possible. Very very good point put in there. It almost does seem that way. There's Darity and Oro just moving through, clearing up the other dungeons. You know, Darity going to take Vitrius down, go take care of Land Molus.
Yeah, so it does look like Oro's going to have a little bit of a time advantage heading into Turtle Rock, which will work out perfectly for timing. You know, that'll give just a way to kind of say, yeah, skip this chest. You have to get big chest, or you don't have to get big chest. You can skip this key or that key, and still should have Oro into GT with enough time to at least, I would assume, do a Dark Magician route through that.
Yeah, definitely that little bit of the time advantage over your teammate at this point is always really nice. You know, as you said, you can skip this, skip that, or you know, if all things go well, you find that GT big and your teammate's able to just go right for it.
Yeah, there's definitely some advantages to having two runners in the same dungeon like GT or Meyer, but equally true is just that ability to say, hey, I'm going to give you the right path, and then we don't have to kind of, you know, cause one person to get ahead or behind based on some decisions there. But Timp taking down Armos, as Tylersalt is now heading towards the blind fight as Oro works through the blind fight.
Great blind fight from Oro there. You know, just keeping blind right where he should be, and another crystal in the books, going to head up to TR.
Yeah, Oro, I think, got hit a little bit, but still able to keep mostly on script the whole time, which is really important. You know, if you can maintain that, it's just so much easier to get through the fight. And we're kind of seeing the same from Tylersalt, you know, at least through those first two phases, especially if you're newer to this game. You know, if you can get through phase 1 and 2 on scripts, phase 3 almost becomes free in a sense.
Yeah, no extra damage along the way, just kind of move through. You know, you can play a little bit more aggressive.
And Oro trying to get the movement through here, which is very difficult at times, falling down on that first try. So taking a little bit safer the second try.
Yeah, for sure. Those dead rocks and those sky cabbages just never want to cooperate. Just want to run through there all slick and smooth, and just doesn't do its part. Is this the play for Tylersalt? Is this the swamp play?
Yeah, it definitely appears that they're kind of cleaning up, like just from what we're seeing from Timp, almost a little clearing up of some extra checks at that time. And yep, Tylersalt heading towards Swamp Palace. So I'll be curious to see if this was based on Timp finding it or also them just running out of checks.
Yeah, as will I. It's going to be interesting to ask them at the end, or if the way we see the restream play out. Oro opening up TR, Darity taking down the pile of eyeballs.
Yeah, that's silver arrows really make a huge difference for when it comes to Vidi.
Oh yeah, it turns that fight from strategy to almost free, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, and a lot of our runners are definitely used to something closer to, whether it's bombs or arrows or sword spins, some of the NMG strategies. At these low health situations, you really can't go through some of those.
No, definitely not. It's the nice to have them at that point, for sure.
And it does look like we are seeing Timp head for Swamp Palace, so I think Timp might have been the one to find Samaria.
Yeah, it seems definitely seems that way from what we're seeing on the screen at this point. Oro just moving through Turtle Rock here, Darity grabbing that vanilla big key in desert.
Yeah, vanilla small and vanilla big.
That Barry just hanging out there, not letting Oro on that platform quite as quick as they would like. Oro up here dancing with the chomps. Looks like we've got a vanilla big key in TR. I believe. I didn't see if Oro got it on right side. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
I did not either, so yeah, we might be heading towards vanilla big key, which means realistically, Oro can't skip the big chest even.
Yeah, no, definitely not at this point.
But there we go. Tylersalt getting his cane at just about an hour 12 for go mode. So I'm assuming Timp's going to find it momentarily as well. No, I guess we did get the big key.
I see our tracker putting that in, or putting in chat for us there. Thank you, Adler. I totally missed that one. So we'll just keep moving on through here. Go fight the three-headed turtle monster. Not quite sure what Trinix actually is.
I mean, it's a turtle rock, and maybe it's got a shell.
That's good enough for me then.
Yeah.
Yeah, Oro skipping the arrow pod in here. Interesting with the with only 4 arrows.
Yeah, luckily there's a good number of arrows inside of GT, and technically 4 is enough to get through the first room of mimics, but between not getting the silvers and kind of skipping a lot of the easy pickups, it's a little difficult at times.
Yeah, and I mean that GT play always seems like if you go in there with just the right amount of arrows, that's when you're inevitably going to miss one.
Yeah, and we've definitely seen times where even like despawning the arrow pot in mimics too. Luckily, worst case, Oro does have a shovel, so could always dig up some arrows if absolutely required, but that's never a good feeling.
No, for sure. Still having a big key hunt as well. It could be an arrow pack sitting there as well, so lots of little outs along the way. Oro changing their mind. Looked like they were going to head for the bottom of Laser Bridge and said, no point. Let's get this done. Darity just coming into TR Oro down at Trinex at this point.
Yeah, and the timing's going to work out nicely. No real changes for Darity, but this still leaves Oro just a little bit ahead heading into GT and just start to determine that route.
Yeah, nice, quick, and easy kill on Trinex here out of the way. Those Pengators not playing nice for Tylersalt there.
No, I missed the route being taken here through ice. Tylersalt has the Cane of Samaria, so I'm unsure of what's going on here.
Yeah, definitely. At this point, let's put some guesses in chat between 1 and 22 where that big key is, you know? Always fun to guess. What's your guess?
I'm usually a number 7, and given how we have the ability to do pretty much a normal order of checks, like, we might see it all.
Yeah, it definitely could be all the way through. I like 13 myself, usually. Timp taking down Argus. You know, as we know, with the delay, this was 10 minutes ago, but moving through the fight quite nice.
And Oro heads left side first, understandably.
Yeah, is this going to be a full left side play, or do you believe it's the DM play?
I think this is going to be DM. Very common strat in co-op is the DM play. It's almost one of those universally agreed, you know, if I'm first in and I've got enough of an edge in terms of the time, I'll do DM strats, even though it's not my normal play.
Yeah, definitely. You know, just more dense on the left side, and if it's not on the if it's sitting on the right, you can just have your teammate just gun right for it.
Because like my own traditional play is hope, and if I get a key, I go right. So I like the idea that in a co-op situation, you know, go with DM. It keeps it so you don't last locate right side. But if I get through compass room and don't find it, I'll go back to full left.
Yeah, I can relate. I wrote GT the same way on my not in a co-op situation for sure. Check 7 through 10 coming up here for Oro.
Well, that's 11 checks so far, and still, you know, the cape's a nice little benefit, especially given Oro not having silver arrows. Cape can really be a beneficial addition.
Yeah, it allows you to play a little bit more aggressively with Ganon at the end.
Yeah, and that red potion also a nice little find.
And we can see by hard counts gaining, you know, the seed just really wanted to keep the health towards the end of the seed. Darity taking down Trinex. Also another nice kill. The advantage of that having that butter sword as well. You know, just three slashes per fire and ice head and move on through.
Yeah, Darity is, you know, the better equipped runner for Zelda and Chill, while over the long shots, both runners did collect silver arrows.
Yeah, definitely with the knowledge. Both runners moving through, still having to deal with Vitreous on the long shot side. Not a bad play just for the speed that it adds to that fight. Rando room here for Oro.
I mean, that one arrow is a really helpful find. But
Yeah.
still, you know, that's not a great arrow count heading towards Ice Armos at this point.
Yeah, definitely. Wonder if Oro will catch the warp here and grab the arrows under the pot rather than bonk over it.
Yep, nice call.
I've had to make that one way too many times than I'd like to admit.
And Darity at this point is just going to go left side as well.
At this point, with the way this is going, Oro will get this check probably done and then can let Darity know whether it needs to turn around and head right to tile room.
Yeah, the only issue here is Oro now down to, it looks like 2 arrows. But there's the big key. And 10 arrows bailed out at the last second there.
Perfect. Nothing wrong with seeing that along the way. Check 20 for the big key.
Yes. Yeah, that's 20. The only thing we had left was that top right and the tile room.
See Oro moving through mimics here, getting towards the climb. Tylersalt taking down Vitreous, so Silver Arrow's making quick work. Timp's replay on the way through here, so
Yeah, so my guess is Timp will be first on the long shots into GT and doing the routing to determine where the big key was. Just has to take down Landmo after this, but should have been first into Turtle Rock for the team.
yeah, that would make sense. It's Oro into the gauntlet, Darity just starting up the climb. Stelfo standing still enough for Oro that not chasing him around to that level of annoying as they often like to do.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see here from the Zelda and Chill side the advantage of the silver arrows. How much quicker does that help Darity move through here?
Yeah, a lot of runners will tell you know how much you can save time, especially on something like Landmo 2, where you know Oro does have the magic to kind of work through it, but you do want to conserve a little bit. You know, if you have the practice with Silver's Landmo, you know, bow Landmo in general can be a very difficult fight, but if you're very practiced at it, you can save a lot of time with those Silvers.
Yeah, definitely one of those nice ones if it's something that you're you're comfortable with. Otherwise, you're just chasing them around with arrows for a while. Tylersalt moving through through TR here. Pardon me. Grab the big key off the right. Carry on through.
Yeah, I mean, the whole question of how much time you truly save on Ganon and GT climb with silvers, there's definitely some things that might be smaller time saves. Land mode, technically, a lot of high tier runners, especially in the NMG categories, they definitely have that comfort level to still one cycle land mo, um, and other areas that are similar.
Yeah, and if you have the magic, I mean, lot more runners are definitely more comfortable with the fire rod route. But either way is great to move on through. Oro moving up here to go fight the wizard up the top of the tower.
Yeah, and you kind of see that here with how Timp played Landmo, like really nice fire rod kill, and that's the kind of stuff you really see at a lot of high tier runners without silver arrows, is they can easily get through that fight in one cycle with just fire rod and a tempered sword.
Yeah, it definitely adds a level of comfort and your, especially if your confidence with it as well. So nice to see it was a really nice fight for Timp. It's interesting to see that on Zelda and Chill's side here, this inter-team finish here going to be really close along the way. I see that that's pointed out in chat just as I was thinking the same thing.
No, definitely. That's always a fun little thing. I've definitely had the same kind of thought where my partner and I are in this kind of situation. We're just like, meet you at the end.
Yeah, hoping to get that little edge, maybe catch the extra triple and egg 2 just to play it back and forth there. As much as it's we're always competing to race and have fun, that's the ultimate goal of this. It's nice to if you can snipe your teammate just for a little laugh the long way through.
Well, and it could go either way at this point. Oro is at a sword disadvantage as well as a silver's disadvantage.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting to see how that's going to play out one way or the other. Oro climbing about halfway through Agate Tower, Darity just entering, Tylersalt coming to the back here, going to grab the key off the side.
Yeah, and you guys kind of pointing out this, difference of times. A lot of these time differences that we're seeing talked about in chat is really based on a lot of idealistic play. Being able to hit, your 1-and-1 reliably, being able to get through a really nice triples set of Ganon fight. So these are little things that you don't see as, depending on the runner and how good of a day they are, like ideal situation, it should be only about 30 seconds, but it's a tough call from there.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of variables thrown in there.
Because I've definitely had races where I've talked to like my own teammate and been like, oh, do I pick up the gold sword here? Is it worth the time? And the question I've gotten back in return is, can you 1-and-1 reliably? And like, there's definitely days I go, oh yeah, I got that. And then there's other days I'm like, yeah, my execution's just not up to par today. And you almost say at that point, yeah, I should go get it just so I know I hit this.
Yeah, definitely. It's as you put it, it's that comfort level. It's so many talented runners in this league and in this community, and these four are no exception. But as you say, some days it's just not there, and other days you can't do anything wrong. And as chat points out, when it comes to Ganon, that is very true. Falling loses you a lot of time. as well as if you're, on the way through here, equipment-wise or not. If you're one of those runners that are able to hover and you fall on Moldorm too, that loses some time as well. Dual Ago 1 fights here for Zelda and Chill.
So, question in chat, is this a difference of the left side swamp play or execution or something else? So, I want to say Tyler was probably into Swamp Palace before Darity or Oral was, so you could definitely make the argument that there was a little bit of a question of who checked what when. But Zelda and Chill also, Darity had gone into Swamp on their end and made the same decision to skip left side. So, we had a runner on both sides into Swamp fairly early and skipping it. So I don't know if I could say that it's one team deciding to do it or not to do it. And we got, oh gosh, this is a scary situation for Oro. Ganon not teleporting all the way to the bottom or the top and just saying, I'm going to hang out here.
Yeah, this place is as good as any.
Yeah.
And Ganon definitely not playing nice for Oro there, especially with that caught off guard, hang out in the middle of the room.
Although Darity also getting down to 1 heart here. Really dangerous fights from both of them. Technically, still a huge advantage here for Zelda and Chill, but this is definitely a bit of a time sink, and I'm sure they're both kind of a little nervous given that Cane of Samaria location.
Yeah, you've got to wonder if the other team just committed to the full clear right away. Oro taking advantage of that cape from right side.
And there we go. That is 4 silver arrows into Ganon for Darity. All she needs to do now is cross that bridge.
The true final boss of the game, that 1x3 bridge.
It is very dangerous. I can personally say it claims many victims. But there we go. Darity crossing the bridge and finishing this race with a time of 1:32:38. Of course, these races do come down to average time, so we do need a finish from Oro before we can call anything.
Oro moving through Ganon fight here, setting up the spins, got the torch glitch.
Yeah, working through it very nicely with the triples. And aiming just for the triples at the bottom. Those top ones can be especially rough if Ganon goes to that top right corner as he's doing right now.
Yeah, definitely not the most cooperative today.
But there we go. There's that final spin for Oro.
Oro just having to cross the bridge as well for their finish.
And there we go. Oro finishing second place overall in this one with a 1:33:43. And with that, Zelda and Chill does clinch this race and their second win of the season.
Get your GGs in chat for Zelda and Chill.
And with that, we have now been joined by Darity and Oro. GG's.
GGs.
GG's, thank you.
So, how did you feel about this one? I'm gonna guess the Samaria, not a great feeling.
It's not the best location for it. I mean, this was kind of a both Samaria both Left Side Swamp and Terra Basement seed, which is annoying even in all dungeons, because those are like the two checks that you want to skip in an all dungeon seed.
Sure, and we are also joined by Tylersalt, who I did not say did actually put in a forfeit right after the end of that one. So hello, Tylersalt, GG's.
Thank you, GG's. Yeah, no, I was after all the shenanigans that I got into in the late seed, I was pretty tilted. So when Oro finished, I was like, nope, all right, I'm done.
Yeah, I can imagine the frustration. I kind of missed what had happened in Ice Palace, but I read back through the race room to see what had happened there.
Yeah, I was excited and a little tilted from Left Side Swamp still, and so I just didn't hit the switch. And I was like, oh crap, where's the big key? Is it in Iced Tea? No. And then I failed the bomb jump to get back over to Freezor. I don't even know where it was. Tim couldn't remember, and so I was like, I have to mirror out and do the whole thing again. So I was like, nah, but. No, we felt really good. I think that it's funny because I got into Swamp Palace and I just totally blanked on the bombable wall chest, because that was the moment that I realized that we were a cane from go. And so I was like, oh wait, it's like the 27th minute or something like that, and we're a cane from go mode. And so at that point, my brain just went entirely out of my head and out the window, and started skipping things and playing really weird, and it just spiraled from there. So
yeah, we just felt like we had enough left. It was like, well, let's just not do Left Side Swamp right now. Let's just hit some dungeons and see if we find it just kind of naturally. I just feel like we lucked out that Oro went back to Swamp when they did, and they were able to pick it up and we were able to go. But I was kind of freaking out because I assumed that Timp and Tyler would probably just full clear it in their first go and have it, but worked out.
Yeah, and if I had done, and weirdly, if I had gone to Swamp, like, I don't know why I would have done this, but if I had gone to Swamp before getting the bow from Hype Cave, I probably would have full cleared it. It was really just that moment. It's like, oh wait, we only need one more item. Yeah, of course I'm going to skip Left Side Swamp at this point. What are the odds it's going to be there? 100% are the odds it's going to be there when you do that. So
Exactly.
So I do want to ask, Oro, any thoughts on, skipping silvers here? I know there was a couple of chances for you to get them, especially later in the seed.
Yeah, just the fact that nothing was on Stumpy or Dig Game or anything else in that area, there was like never a reason for me to go to K45. So I don't know. It just didn't feel like a play to me. It didn't feel like it was worth the time.
It was funny. I think we were both in Aga 2, and Oro was like, I think you're going to beat me. And I was like, why would I beat you? And they're like, I didn't get the silvers. I had no idea. I was like, you didn't get the silvers? Oh my gosh. Nope.
yeah, I remember telling Timp that they were there and discussing that and saying, it's like, well, between Ganon and Vitreous, it's probably going to save enough time to grab them. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely a call that we debated back and forth here. It's like, yeah, is it enough to go get them? It speeds things up if you're comfortable. Helps with Lambo too if you're comfortable with that fight as well. But either way, it works out. Everybody in this race, you were all at the level that you're comfortable without them as well. So.
Timp gave me a message to say he had to bail for a family obligation. He said, sorry for screwing up the amount of delay, and that he was really happy with his Mothula fight really early, and that everything else was gravy. So that was Timp's message to the restream.
I was gonna say, I know it's been quite complicated. Everybody, trying to go through some of these league matches and also working through SGL qualifiers right now. So
yeah,
really busy and kind of difficult to remember to kind of swap back and forth at times.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not doing. I recently moved to the West Coast. I'm not doing any more races at 9 a.m. This is terrible.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
So I guess we'll just put it back out there real quick. I don't have anything more for you, but I mean, we've kind of covered it. But any thoughts from the runners on the race? What do you guys actually think of the seed?
I'll say my saltiness at the end of this race notwithstanding, I thought we had two really good races against three people that I really like, friends of mine in Oro and Darity and Amerith around here. So it was a hard fought series. I wish this one could have been a little bit closer like our last one was. But GG's to all of you friends, and good luck going forward.
Yeah, the Longshots are three of my favorite people in the rando community, and it kind of stung a little to give them losses, but it was fun just playing them, knowing that whoever won, I'd be happy.
No.
Yeah, I'll echo it. Love the division that we're in. It was really cool to get to go up against these guys. Yeah, I appreciate the experience getting to be on Restream. I haven't had that a whole lot. It got in my head a little bit. It was really like the hour mark when I finally started to settle in and just kind of play normally. But yeah, the seed was good. It was jetty enough if you do it right. And yeah, great competition with Tyler and Timp is awesome. So thanks everybody.
And Timp and I will be back next week for Fad Keys as well. It's going to be the two of us.
Woohoo!
I don't know if you have any more, Jesse, but if you don't, do you want to take us out?
I do not, so I guess we'll take this one out. As Timp is going through just getting past Moldorm 2 on his stream. But yeah, thank you everybody for watching this. As always, this is the end of week 1 roughly for League. There are still some races later today, and I think some of them are being restreamed. So definitely a lot of great action, and there will continue to be for the next 3+ months. Starting tomorrow, though, we will start having F80 keys. So only 2 runners you'll have to watch at a time, but going to be a great time. As always, make sure to give our runners a follow for putting on such a great show today. And of course, shout outs to all of the crew working on this one today. There's a lot that goes into making these happen between, you just hear our voices for a long time, but big shout outs to our trackers, Adalor and Drunk Future Self. And of course, our restreamer, Amerith. We are always looking for volunteers in the community. So, if you have the time or the interest in doing so, you can always join in and easily get paired with somebody who can show you the ropes, or you want to restream, talk to them, and they will definitely help you as well there. So, but with that, have a great rest of your Sunday, and we hope to see you at the next race.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for the restream.